Good morning. Welcome to part two of my ongoing series on how to improve things where you live. And I have been thinking today about kind of home as, um, what is your home? What's the relationship between your home and um, the homes around you? And I've just been thinking about what's our responsibility and what's our uh, effect on things that are happening around us. So I'm just going to talk about a couple random things that come to my mind. I don't really have a script for this one, but there have been a few issues that I have been kind of focused on over the years that I think are relevant and interesting and something that everyone can do to make things better for people around them and probably for yourself as well. So I'm just going to start off with the first thing that's been coming to my mind today, which is cars. If you have a car, or if you know people who have cars, this might be relevant to them. The first thing that you can do is to figure out how to not beep your car so when you lock it. And a lot of people who have newer cars, when they close their car, it beeps. And while I'm making this video, it's very likely that you'll hear that. Though I have been talking to my neighbors about this issue, and most of the ones who live right nearby me have actually figured out how to turn that feature of their car off, or I would call it a bug actually. So that's something that can just make the neighborhood a little bit quieter. And it also isn't beeping your car right next to your own ears or your pet's ears or your kid's ears or anyone else's ears in hearing distance. So that's a really nice thing that everyone can do for themselves and each other, is just to disable the beeping mechanism to lock your car. You can usually just lock it by either pressing the fob differently once versus twice, or just by locking the car as you're getting out of the car manually. So that's something. Another thing related to cars is idling. And many people, and I'm not going to generalize exactly, but a lot of people tend to get in their cars, turn the cars on, and then sit and just hang out in the car for a while they figure out where they're going, or they make a phone call, or they do whatever it is they're going to do before they actually take off. And sometimes they remember after being in the car for 5 minutes that they forgot something inside, and they get out of the car and they leave the car on. So, anyway, idling is a terrible thing for so many different reasons. Whether it's air pollution, wasting gas, which wastes you money, but it also is the air pollution aspect and the noise aspect. And this is a particular problem in our city right now, the city of Portland, Oregon, where I live, where we have quite a number of city departments who will run diesel dump trucks, for instance, and just run them for an hour while they're in use or not in use. And so that's something that you can also do is you can take action and you can contact the city and say, hey, you want to save some money? You're having budget issues. Have workers turn off their vehicles when they're not in use. And my sense is that could save the city of Portland at least a couple of $1 million at least a year. Plus, it improves the air quality for all living, breathing beings. So, those are a couple of issues. Turning off the beeping of the car when you open or close it. Beeping, honking, both are problems. And then idling is a secondary issue. And let's see, anything else related to cars? Okay, the last thing I'll say about cars, and then I think I'll call it a day, just because that's probably long enough, is that there's a particular ways that you can park that make life a lot easier for the people around you. I call it city parking. I'll include a link to this in the description of this video. But basically, the idea is that you pull up as far forward as you can to the next driveway. And so that makes it easier for the person coming behind you to pull in versus doing any kind of, um, what is it called? The parking where you have to pull in behind another car. It'll probably come to me. So yeah, just pull up as far as you can. That makes it easier for you also when you want to get out, so no one's parked in front of you. It's called city parking. I don't think I came up with the phrase but it basically makes it a lot easier for everyone to get in and out of their parking spots and just to move around the city. So those are three ideas to make things better around where you live. I hope this has been helpful. If you find it useful, feel free to subscribe to my channel and feel free to share my video with other folks. I've got a bunch of stuff cooking. I've been trying to improve where I live for a long time. I think the last thing, I'll just tag this with, a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about are things that where you have to either do something different yourself. So you have to take direction from this video, or you have to think that what I'm saying is a good idea. Or you may have to talk to somebody else, a neighbor, into changing what they're doing. And we have a real hard time with this in our society. It might be true for all societies. Telling somebody that they're not doing something right, I think, is a very difficult position to be in. But it's not the end of the world. You can have a very easy conversation with the neighbor where they get what you're talking about, especially after you get practiced at talking about these issues. Or you can have a really hard conversation. But as they say, difficult conversations often lead to greater depth and intimacy. And so I've had a conversation with a neighbor of mine that was very difficult in the moment that actually led to furthering and a deepening of our friendship. So give it a try. Sometimes talking to a neighbor about something hard feels hard in the moment, but actually will lead to the other person getting what you're talking about and perhaps making it better for you and them. So this is some thoughts for today, and I hope that this is useful to you. And again, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and let's see if we can get some of these ideas out there into the world. Enjoy the day.